Hey YouTube, cutting this a bit fine to get this out on today. I'm just feeling, I do have another JPACs, couple of JPACs videos to go, but we had one yesterday, so I'm trying to do something different. And obviously there's more corker stuff I've got to do. But this, I've got in from my pal David. This is a, you can't actually read it, a Fender Stratocaster. Designed and backed by Fender. So, yeah. So it's a chender. Stratocaster, which I think someone's gone to town on with expensive bits. It does. No, that's not the big thing. The big thing is, do you see that? Frets a la scallop, pure heavy scalloped all the way, all of the frets. I nearly bought one of these when I was in China. To be honest, I can't remember why I didn't. I think I bought another Telecaster instead, but I quite fancied seeing what a properly scalloped neck was like. This one, I think somebody's bought it and then spent a lot of money on it, but not wisely spent a lot of money on it. So it's got a Floyd Rose Special fitted. It's got real EMGs and a circuit board. I think this is a bass, active bass and treble rather than the two tones you would normally get in a Strat. And other bits, you know, so it's been upgraded quite heavily. I mean, it's a really nice looking body. I mean, it must be. I think it's just a two-piece ash. Look, limited edition, made in the USA, custom shop. I just wish they didn't bother putting Fender custom shop on it. Why not just sell? I had this problem when I was buying the guitars in China. It was like, can I just have one that doesn't have a logo on it, or one that actually just says chender? Because you know they can be pretty good. This one, it's not a cheapie. It's got a single-piece neck on it. A really nice neck. It's just a shame it's got I do like the painted headstock, and the whole look of it's very kind of looks like a Levinson blade maybe, or something in that park, the sort of 90s Schectery maybe type Strat looky thing, like one of your custom shoppy things that started appearing. So I did need some work done, and I had to file the nut down, which obviously this has a clamp like so. Someone's gone damn low, rasping that, shaving down that wood, so I didn't want to go any lower, so I actually just angle grinded the bottom of the nut, because the nut action was like 2mm between the first fret. Now it's perfect. Also the scratch plate, I don't know, you can't really see how straight a line that is there in front. When you push the tremolo forwards, it actually it was clipping, getting caught on the scratch plate, so I just kind of roughly went and hacked away at it until it fitted. But now, so this one was, the guy was saying, the Floyd Rose's pish doesn't work. In fact, I might actually, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to use a special secret that you can't, only someone who's been to America can actually do. To get the Floyd Rose feeling absolutely brilliant, I mean, this is one of the ones with the screw-in collar on it. What you need is a little bit of plastic straw, which I'll open a fresh one, because this is in America. Because in America they haven't banned plastic straws. This is a Perspex, a see-through one. So just going to take a wee bit of that plastic straw. I mean, as soon as the first time we were anywhere, I was like, Jen, look, plastic straws! Pure nabbing them and putting them in, and then whenever we were going out for dinner anywhere, everyone was getting straws and handing them to me, so I came back with about 6. It's like, you only need that to do a Floyd Rose, so out of that you'd probably get 10 or 15 Floyd Roses, but awful handy things, because you just kind of put it around that, and then it ends up being super tight when you put it in. I should have done this live, I'm assuming it's going to work. There you go. Which means that when you screw it on, it'll be absolutely solid. Well, that's the hope anyway. If I can get it down, if I can get the thing to actually squish over it. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe this is not the Floyd Rose that it wanted to be on. Yeah. Why did I decide to do this live and not just beforehand? Because I just forgot. I was just thinking it could have done with a wee bit of a tightening up. I think that's just too much. I wonder if I can use half of a slither of plastic straw to do it. I'm determined to use some of these plastic straws. I mean, I got one off Scott a few months ago, and it was like, this is like gold dust. He told me at one point he had a stash of them, and then when we were away camping in his camper van, it was like, Pierre, find your stash of plastic straws, and he was like, Pierre. So he gave me one and then moved the stash somewhere else. See, now it's absolutely rock solid. Probably even tighten it up a little bit with pliers. Make it absolutely super, more solid than hard as a rock. Right, now how's it? Not quite. Maybe that. So my super plastic straw thing, it hasn't appeared to have done the job this time. Unless I can keep tightening it up. The thing is, this has got to come off to go back into the case anyway. So maybe if I just tightened it up a little bit more with the pliers, it would have been better. You know what I've done is I've wedged a plastic straw in there, so it's not wanting to undo or do up. I don't like using a pair of pliers if I can avoid it in these sort of things. Right, so let's just see how. Maybe faff about with a bit of tape or something like that. Maybe if I just get it tight enough, that'll be. Okay, there's absolutely nothing in this at all now. It does the flutter thing. I can't get into EMG pickups, and these are real ones because they sound like them. I had a Godin which had these same pickups in it, and it was my other amp. It made a big difference in my wee Laney when I plugged it into the high and a low input. When you put it into the low, because these are active, so it's kind of overdriving. See, when I have not touched the reverb pedal, right? This is the reverb pedal on. What's that all about? It doesn't do that with a normal guitar. Sounds like I've got about 40,000 gallons of reverb on, but I think it's just because it's so high output. This guitar does have quite sharp fret ends, but I just basically sit and watch Star Wars or something and just sit and file away at them. Sure, I'll maybe give them a shot of my file and say, here, I'll show you how to do one sort of thing. They're a wee bit, it's just a wee bit sharp, which makes it on. I do actually have a couple of scallop guitars. My Schecter Strat has a home done scallop, and my Ibanez Destroyer has also got a home done scallop. Neither of them are as extreme as this, and this is scalloped all the frets, whereas my Ibanez the scalloping kind of does this. So it's kind of the first 3 frets aren't scalloped at all, and then it starts being scalloped under the thin strings here, and then by the time you get up to the sort of 7th or the 8th, all the frets are scalloped, but it's like kind of, so you've got like normal open. This is scalloped all the way, which gives you a kind of bizarre. That's me bending in the way, so you can get like a vibrato by pushing the string in towards the fretboard. Don't know. I can't talk when I'm doing this, but I'll show you just to show how extreme, in case the video doesn't really show how. You see there. So the scallop's basically, it's scooped out in between the frets like this, which contrary to what you would think, it's like, oh, it's for playing really fast because Yngwie Malmsteen does that. It's not for playing really fast. It makes it feel a wee bit strange playing. Like I've got used to it, but because I've got other ones. So basically, if you just can't, if you hold the chord in normally, but you can. It's quite good for learning. Say you're going from acoustic to electric, which happens a lot when you see people playing acoustic guitars, or they learn in an acoustic and then move on to electric. I always kind of say buy both at the start, or get whatever one you want more, get the electric and the acoustic, and then 6 months later buy the other one, you know, just so you can get into that, because so many acoustic players, they just absolutely clamp those strings down as hard as they physically can, which is bad on an electric because the strings bend, but it's worse on this. You know, if you just clamp a G chord, whereas if you play it normally, I'm really struggling with the EQing of this guitar. It does not sound like a Strat at all. Yeah, so this had been, as I said, worked on. I think this has probably been through a few hands. Whoever bought it originally has ripped out the parts and put in more expensive stuff. And the truss rod's pretty much perfectly adjusted, so they knew how to do that. It's just other things which I don't think you don't learn it from a book. You just learn it from having played hundreds of guitars that has had everything wrong with them I've ever come across. And it's like, not too high. That's why it was sounding pure awful all the way down here, and the action was terrible. The action's a hard one to measure in this because the fingerboard's sitting lower, so you've just got to measure. If you measure the string from the frets, I'm pretty sure this is coming in at really ridiculously low. Yeah, it's like 1 millimeter. So I mean which means it must have a good fret job. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to hear all the chords, all the notes. There's only so low. I can't get the corker down to 1 millimeter, so it's got a better fret job currently than that does, even if it does have sharp edges. But the sharp edges are partly because you've got these scallops. You can feel them more, even on like the Schecter one I've got. You can feel it feels odd. I spent ages doing the fret edges and that. It still feels funny. You can still sort of feel them, but they're just not quite as jaggy. Light distortion. See, that looks like it's of a high action as well. Oh, okay. 1.25. Yeah, also the other thing that not everyone knows, which the person who put this guitar together didn't know, see the saddles on a Floyd Rose? They're not all the same. So, you know, there's a curvature on your fingerboard. The saddles on a Floyd Rose don't actually have individual height on them. So what you find is the two outer ones are lower, and then you get two middle-sized ones, and then the two taller ones go in the middle. This guitar was done wrong, so basically it went from one of the low ones to one of the middle ones, so there was like a millimetre or two in height-wise between the first two strings. So I had to take them out and put them back in again. That's just when somebody's bought this Floyd Rose Special to upgrade it, they've taken it to bits and cleaned it, put it back together slightly wrong, or something. Whoever it was maybe took it to bits, cleaned it, and then put it for sale. Didn't know how to do it. I wonder if it's holding tune. I haven't even really. Strings won't be stretched in. Still a wee bit off that. Lost a wee bit in the A. So it's basically holding tune. was doing a wee bit of extreme bending there. I'm just thinking, if you've got a Floyd Rose, sometimes they sound awful. If you can't get it to work, it's basically a waste of time having one. It just causes more problems. So if you're a beginner, or you don't know somebody like me who can fix it up, or you're not that way inclined to actually work out how to use the bastard and things. But actually, the guy who I'm going a wee bit off topic, but who cares? I can't remember the guy's name. Kenneth, I think, gave Jen the Schecter bass when we were in Pennsylvania. He brought 6 guitars into the shop just to put a trade in, and he wanted like an American Fender, but he traded in 6 guitars, like Schecters and Epiphone. You know, easily more than a couple of grand's worth to get a Fender at some point. I think. And one of the Schecters he got rid of was like a modern Super Strat, one of the Diamond series ones, a very fancy looking top on it, looked very nice. And I was talking to his wife, and she was just like, but yeah, it's just that every 6 months it's just $100 to go to the shop and get the strings changed. Yeah, so that means you get it set up. But he's obviously tried to do it before himself, and it can be a bit of a nightmare. There are plenty of YouTube tutorials on how to do it. I should probably do one, because that one would make sense, rather than somebody who's trying to get you to take it into their shop. Usually you can tell those videos by someone going, yes, you just get this special tool for adjusting Floyd Roses. Where it's like, yeah, oh, these are easy, you can get them from Stuback, they're only 80 quid. Just buy this to do your one guitar. And then you put it on the jig. Obviously it's a special jig that holds the neck level while you're doing the work on it. You know, these are only $3 or $4 grand from Stumac, right? Okay. And then at the end of it, once they showed you how they've done it using all the most expensive equipment they can find, they say, yes, also we do guitar repairs, we can do it for you. Here's the phone number of the shop. Because obviously what they're doing is they're trying to make it that or to adjust the truss rods. Oh, you need a jig and straight edges and stuff. They don't want to tell you that what you need is an Allen key. What you need is an Allen key to adjust a truss rod. So basically you hold the string down at the first and the last fret, and in the middle you adjust it so you've got like a bow hair enough to hear it. You know, you don't want a couple of millimeters, less than a millimeter in between the sort of middle frets. That and you adjust the Allen key until it does that. But if you look up any videos on how to do it, a lot of them will tell you to put it into the special jig and use the special Allen keys and use the special stuff and then use the Stumac stuff, and then that's like so. But that's going to cost you $300 or $400. Why don't you just come into the shop and it'll only cost you 150 quid to get it done once? Mm-hmm. Oh, you bit of a rant turned in there. But I can't get I don't like these pickups. It's maybe just because they're too far away from anything I'm used to. Yeah, the rat kind of kills into it. Is that your table? That's bass and that's treble. Yes, so what I started saying earlier on and got sidetracked was, it's not to make you play faster, the scalloping. What it does is, see when you're bending a string, see because you can now get your finger lower down, you know, your finger's sitting on the fretboard, it now means that instead of being the very edge of your finger that's grabbing the strings, it's kind of the point of your finger, which means that you can bend strings, this has got tens on it, much further. Just physically because your finger's lower down in the string, so instead of using the very bottom bit of your finger to do the bending, you're using the middle bit, so you get tons of grip. So you can really bend strings. The chances of this still being in tune after this are pretty low, but I never bend more than... I bend 2 notes, but this one, you get 3. Don't think I'm going to get 4. Okay, you can bend. I did not change the strings in this guitar, but because it wasn't playing very well, the strings haven't been stretched in. So this is not holding. I can feel it going quite a lot when I was doing those bends. More than I was with the Floyd Rose, but I think that's actually just because it's physically the strings. Almost turned the tuner there. Don't do that to Floyd Rose. Of course, these ones haven't moved because these weren't the ones I was bending. That's the one I was bending. I was bending that G string. It was really only the G that went in. I'll go for the first 3 notes and something to swing. I should probably end this video now, but we'll see how it goes. That was too slow. The active pickup's making the rat pedal respond differently, where the rat's not louder. The bend's ridiculous. Jeff Beck I ain't. And there's that reverb just being massive. Give me 2 seconds. I want to check, make sure it's not just I've not bashed the pedal or something like that. It doesn't. It's got really small knobs on it that adjust the pedal. So I mean, I don't think I've bashed it. I'm just trying to make sure it doesn't do it with this guitar. Is it that reverb bass? It is. So it's not the guitar. What's going on? Oh. That's what's happened. I've bashed it onto yeah, okay. What's happened is there's a wee mini switch on the top, which I've obviously kicked, which is I put it onto shimmer mode. That's why it sounded funny. So maybe this will sound a bit better now that I've realised that. Sort of. Yeah, okay, so that was what was going on. I'd bashed one of the things on the pedal. That's much better. So actually, I quite like the guitar. It's nice. It definitely has a 90s look about it. What was it? One of the ones that just with J-Packs looked like this was a Corsa or something like that it was called. Is it very much a sort of top of the range, mid-range guitar by Cort or Washburn or somebody like that in the 90s? Kind of had this. It's still a Strat, but it's got a slightly more modern as in 90s paint job on it. It's got a Floyd Rose. Well, it's got the active EMGs. The reason I know this is real EMGs is because I've seen fake ones before in Chinese guitars. More, it was the humbucker ones, and they basically were just humbuckers that had EMG printed in the front. Whereas these have like the quick connector thing. It's got like a hologram thing that says "Made in USA," and this is all one complete PCB thing with quick connect stuff on it. So the Chinese ain't going to fake that because inside the guitar you would never find it. So I don't think you would ever get EMGs that were actually took a 9-volt battery, like fake ones. Fake ones would just be pickups that look like EMGs with black covers on them, whereas these are active. You can tell that by the fact the two knobs do different things. Whatever that does. That's the bass. That might be treble, I don't know. But just because these pickups aren't necessarily for me, a lot of that's to do with what kind of music it is you like playing. Me, it's sort of 70s stuff before active came in. But the owner of this plays one of those Spark amps, you know, with all the stuff that I don't like on it. All you can apps on your phone and you can set any sound you want. I bet you it works really well for that. I'm kind of relying on getting distortion from a tube amp or get the sound out of a tube amp by driving it hard with, you know, basically all these guitars have something like DiMarzio Super Distortion type things in it where you've got like a sort of easy to distort a tube amp pickup. That's what they were actually designed for. So that kind of thing, I'm using that. I'm not using, you know, if you plug me into a solid state amp or even plug it into that, it doesn't. I need to do other things to make the sound I want, rather than relying on the tubes saturating or fuzzing or whatever it is they do to make it sound the way it does. So this guitar's just kind of like not for my amp. I do remember this the last time when I had the Godin, which I sold pretty quickly actually because I didn't like the pickups. After I'd done the video, I tried putting into the low input because the lady's got the high and the low, and it made so much sense. It's like suddenly you weren't pure hitting the front end of the amp with 10 times as much volume as it's used to, which is what's happening here. So it's kind of like, it's distortion, but it's not a pleasant distortion. It's just pure, stop it, stop being so too loud, stop. But maybe that's the sound you want. I mean, that's cutting through a mix like no other. There's no shake going on in the background. So David, your guitar's ready. I might give you a phone, see if you're about tonight. Actually, come pick it up. Floyd Rose, I reckon, is going to stay in tune as long as if you replace the strings, just keep tens on it, do one at a time. It should be fine. And as I say, I would just sit and fidget with a. See, once you've done, I would maybe start up here somewhere with the frets, and then once you've done a few, you'll get really good at it, and then you'll be able to do it without really thinking about it anymore, and then do the main ones, because these are obviously the main ones that you feel. So try and do kind of above the 12th fret where you don't play very often until you get the hang of exactly how to do it, which means if you do fuck it up a little bit, it's like, it's not as bad. But it's just a case of just try to roll them around a little bit. I mean, you've already had a shot at this one, and you've kind of... It's significantly not as bad as all the others. If they were all like that, you wouldn't notice them. Rock on. See you on tomorrow. What day? Today's Friday, so I've still got another video for Saturday. I might put another New Yorker one out. Jen had a good day today. She kept sending me messages, like folk from America and stuff, sending her positive comments, which is nice. So more of that if you can. Mind you, she's just struggling a wee bit the way I am. Kind of back here, like, it was not full exciting being in America. It was not full exciting back here. It's kind of cold, damp, and boring a wee bit. But I do get to play a scalloped fingerboard, and whether the scallops are for you, I mean, I had to have one just to see what it was like, and I'm sure everyone's the same. I wouldn't scallop a neck myself for one of my guitars because I've got one, and although it's interesting, it's not something I could be bothered doing for myself. I would only do it to try and sell a guitar, and it's a slightly different way of playing, as I said. So you don't. There might even be a possibility, you get like a B bender. You wonder if you can. That's me. That's me sort of pushing the string in, bending the B. And in funny tunes it might work. Maybe not enough. Gives it some movement. The way that's what a pedal steel does. Or you get the B bender in a Fender, which basically it's like a lever that just bends the one string, so you can play a chord and then go, and it makes it a minor because it just alters the one string. But this guitar just needs played a bit more and it will settle down, and a wee bit of fun shaving off the frets a little bit just at the edges. But the level wise they're alright all the way up. It's playing everywhere. I mean, the main, as I said, I'm repeating myself, main problem with this was the nut was too high, which means you have to either dig into the neck of the guitar with one of these metal clamp things or angle grind a metal clamp. So angle grinding was the way I went, and then the Floyd Rose just needed the scratch plate cut out more so that when you bent it down the way, it wasn't kind of getting stuck on the... It's actually quite a stiff spring on it. But I mean, David was saying it's like it doesn't return to pitch at all. It appears to work quite well. Rock on. See you tomorrow, and then I was thinking of doing a live stream Sunday, but on Saturday night, but I'm not sure. I'll maybe do that next week. Or I might do a live stream tomorrow night. Depends what's going on. Catch you later.